So I know what it's like to come from, not very many means. And so I'm very grateful for that in a way, because it might look to some people that I'm a well-known person, I'm successful, and it's absolutely true. I have tremendous resources. What I'm so fortunate with is that with these resources, I can engage with issues that I think are meaningful. That gives my life a sense of purpose.
I started a small production company, and I created an animation on how to teach kids about money. And I think it is really imperative that we do this as a nation, because unfortunately, nobody ever teaches you about this stuff. And because you don't get taught effectively about money issues, you grow up and you get to adulthood, and then you have no idea, and you're too embarrassed to say, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I wrote a book called Memo to the President-elect at a time when I had no idea who the person was going to be. I ultimately did give it to President Obama, and I inscribed it with the audacity to hope that this book might be useful. And I laid out 5 big umbrella issues that were out there. How to deal with terrorism without creating more terrorists. How to deal with nuclear proliferation so that the worst weapons didn't get into the hands of the worst people. How to really lower the gap between the rich and the poor. There are fewer poor people in the world in absolute numbers, but the gap between them is growing. And while there is no direct line between poverty and terrorism, it's not hard to imagine that people who are alienated from their societies are more likely to be recruitable for those who don't like us. Then I did put that whole package of issues of energy, environment, global pandemic. And then the last issue was how to restore the good name of democracy. I didn't have the financial crisis because it wasn't going on at the time, but that combination of issues I still think are the ones that are the biggest ones out there for people to deal with.
The children develop their personalities in a holistic manner, and I have 4 elements of that. Number 1, intellectual development, which goes far beyond the courses that you study in your classes. Number 2 is physical development. Number 3 is moral development. And number 4, which is very, very important, is social development. Your interaction with your subordinates, with your peers, and with your superiors. So these 4 graded development of personality of the children.
Well, it was from day one when I started to think about the idea of building a company. I knew that if it was ever going to be successful, part of the real DNA of it would be about philanthropy. And for me, when I launched it 2 years ago, it was one of the greatest days of my life, because I feel that we can contribute and we can help really inspire women, and getting women back into the workforce, helping them start their small businesses, and then of course with mentorship.